Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news, keep you up to date of what players are linked with Manchester United, and also a bit later on in the video I'm going to give you a bit of Chelsea's transfer news, also going to give you a bit of Liverpool's transfer news. So I am going to be negotiating with you on this video about Diego Dalot, because a bit more additional information is updated about him. I obviously give you the news regarding Diego Dalot recently, didn't I? Because he is fighting for his future at the football club. Also, too, I'm going to give you a bit more additional information on Paul Pogba, because I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with him on a regular basis and that. And then after that, I think I'm going to delve into the news on Chelsea and Liverpool. So there you go. That's your topics on this video. So the news is on Diego Dalot that reportedly we have confirmed what our asking price is, and we've said if we are to let Diego Dalot go when the transfer market reopens, we've said we want in the £30 million range. So I think we want from £30 to £35 million for the player, because it is very important that we get more for Diego Dalot than what we paid for him, because we did get Diego Dalot back in the summer of 2018. I think it was actually Jose Mourinho's final signing, or obviously it was his final transfer window when he did sign Diego Dalot, but we did pay around £19 million for the player, and I think he signed a 5-year deal. So Dalot's under contract with the football club until 2023. Like I mentioned, his appearances have been limited this season due to his injuries. I think he's only made one start in the Premier League this season. Diego Dalot, I think he played quite a lot as a winger towards the back end of last season, but did put some impressive performances out, and he is only the age of 21. But he recently said, Diego Dalot is fighting for his future at the football club. He is predominantly a right back. He's a backup to Wan-Bissaka, is Diego Dalot. So yeah, we do want in the £30 million range. So it reportedly says, that PSG have recently expressed their interest in him. Also, it said recently, that Tottenham, could go in for the player, because I think Jose Mourinho is an admirer of the player and that Diego Dalot. So if he leaves Manchester United, will he continue applying his trade in the Premier League, or will he go to France to PSG? Maybe more clubs will enter the race for the player. But some, Man United fans probably believe that he's got a foreseeable future at Manchester United. He probably, will get more opportunities at some point. But he could be one of the players that's leaving the football club when the transfer market does reopen. So, yeah, so that's the latest news on Diego Dalot. Now, let's delve into the news on Paul Pogba. So, the news now is on Paul Pogba is that Manchester United are determined to sell Paul Pogba when the transfer market does reopen, because it said that Ed Woodward has made a decision regarding Paul Pogba. And reportedly, we've said we want around £70 million for the player. So, actually, that £70 million figure is £19 million less than what we paid for him, because we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba from Juventus back in 2016 and that. But yeah, so maybe, Paul Pogba will leave the football club when the transfer market does reopen. But, there is uncertainty over his future at the moment. Don't forget, it confirmed recently that we have decided not to trigger the 1-year extension on Paul Pogba's contract. So that does mean Paul Pogba has only now got 1 year remaining, well, exactly 1 year remaining on his current contract at the football club, because I think we have been in negotiations over possibly getting Pogba a new contract at Manchester United. Obviously, the Spanish expert came out earlier on this week, and he actually said that Paul Pogba will sign a new long-term contract at the club, and he said he'll sign a new long-term contract at the club and he will become the club's leader. Now, it's recently said that Inter Milan have entered the race for Paul Pogba. Now, there's been a lot of clubs that have been in for Paul Pogba. Don't forget, there's been talks of him going to Real Madrid. Real Madrid have been relentlessly linked with him. There's also been a lot of narrative in the mainstream media, of him possibly making a return back to Turin. Barcelona have inquired about his availability in the past. But yeah, a number of clubs have been in for Paul Pogba. For PSG to afford Paul Pogba, they'd have to either offload Kylian Mbappe or Neymar, because Neymar and Kylian Mbappe are the two most expensive players in the world. So it does say that Inter Milan are in for Paul Pogba. I'm very sceptical he'll go to Inter Milan, to be quite honest with you. Don't forget, Inter Milan have done business with us quite a few times, because obviously, they've already bought 3 players off us. They got Ashley Young off us this year for just over £1 million, after Ashley Young endured 8.5 years at Manchester United. They also got Romelu Lukaku off us last summer. Of course, Lukaku endured 2 years at the football club. We paid £75 million in from Everton back in 2017, but Lukaku scored 42 goals in 96 games for the club in all competitions. Was exceptional in his first season, but didn't really replicate that in his second season. So you can say we probably made a mistake getting rid of Lukaku, but he had to go because he lost his place in the team. Inter Milan got him for £72 million. So we nearly did recoup, the money, that we paid for him from Everton. We recouped the vast majority of the 70 odd million, that we did pay for him. And of course, we got Alexis Sanchez from us on loan last summer as well. Don't forget, did Inter Milan. I'm very, very sceptical that Inter Milan are going to get him on a permanent transfer. Sanchez is expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Inter Milan, because don't forget, he said the other week he is refusing to take a pay cut. And like I said, Sanchez's wages were having a really bad effect on the football club. I said he's on 400 grand a week, rising up to £500,000 a week based on, the bonuses and the image rights. But even with him being on loan at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. We're still paying him around 300 grand a week, and Inter Milan are paying like the other £100,000. But like, the Chilean manager said, regarding Sanchez, he's endured a torturous, traumatic year. And he's endured a difficult time at Milan. He endured a difficult 18 months with Manchester United. And he didn't live up to expectations at Manchester United, as we all thought he would have done. Especially reflecting on what he did at Arsenal. He had a good 3.5-4 years of Arsenal. Also did very, very well under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona. So, yeah. So, Inter Milan, reiterate what I said, have bought 3 players off us. Don't forget, they've recently inquired about the availability of Anthony Martial. But I do believe if Paul Pogba leaves Manchester United, he will either go to Real Madrid. If he doesn't go to Real Madrid, he will make a return back to Juventus. That's my perception on it. Now, I think it did say the other week, that Paul Pogba's first choice is Juventus, to be quite honest with you. Revert back to last summer, Paul Pogba confirmed that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted that he wanted to leave the football club. And his preference was a move to Madrid last summer, but the main explanation why his move to Real Madrid didn't materialise last summer was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we said we wanted 180 million for Pogba last summer, so he was demanding just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus. But Real Madrid were not willing to meet our £180 million asking price for the player, and Real Madrid, of course, recruited a good 6 players in last summer, so they did spend quite a bit of money. Real Madrid, of course, they're not in for him now. Like I said earlier on today, they have dropped their interest in Pogba because I think they're turning their attentions on, alternative midfielders and that. But there's players, that Real Madrid also want to get rid of. They want to get rid of James Rodriguez. I think it said last summer Real Madrid had put around the £40 million bid in, plus James Rodriguez, to try and get Paul Pogba, but we didn't go along with that. They want to get rid of Jovicic because he's been disappointing for Madrid since his arrival from Frankfurt. They also want to get rid of Gareth Bale. He's another player they want to get rid of. They also probably will get rid of Benzema because Karim Benzema is coming to an end of his footballing career anyway. They'll look to get rid of Dani Ceballos on a permanent transfer and that. So yeah, Real Madrid have got a hell of a lot of players on their agenda. But revert back to last year, Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid. And I think he's got a good relationship with Zinedine Zidane, and also to Mini Raiola, he's got a good relation with Real Madrid. But like I've mentioned on my recent videos, Mini Raiola has been talking a lot since the turn of the year. And we've been very, very critical of Mini Raiola, reflecting on some of the comments he has said. He was saying early on this year, like, Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property. He was also, saying that he wants to take a great footballer to Real Madrid. And I think Mini Raiola has spoken with Real Madrid, and he's also spoken with Juventus. And Ed Woodward's had quite a few negotiations with Mini Raiola, to try and resolve Pogba's future at the football club. But Mini Raiola, has made a number of public attacks against the club since the turn of the year. So in that aspect, we've been very, very critical of Mini Raiola. Definitely in that. But like I updated you the other day, Alan Shearer, he come out and give his verdict on Paul Pogba, and Alan Shearer does believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a decision on Paul Pogba. I think Alan Shearer believes that Paul Pogba will leave the football club when the transfer market does reopen. This is what, Alan Shearer believes. Obviously, Paul Pogba recently, gave an interview to the United podcast, and he come out with quite a few interesting stuff. Obviously, he was talking about the issues that he's had with injuries this season. Paul Pogba made an admission saying, it has really had a bad effect. It's really affected him, and it's really infuriated him. But he said, when he does come back and when the football season resumes, he will be, much better, will Paul Pogba. Because Pogba's only played 8 times this season for the football club. His appearances have been limited due to his injuries, but Pogba's sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. He also revealed, I think earlier on this week, or was it last week, that he was an Arsenal fan when he was younger. He was also talking about a few weeks ago, or was it last week, that, what convinced him to leave Manchester United for Juventus back in 2012. And he revealed it was his mother and his brother that played a part in him leaving Man United back in 2012. Because don't forget, we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Alex Ferguson era. But due to limited appearances, we had to let Paul Pogba go on a 3 transfer to Juventus. Yes, we had to let him go in that. Don't forget as well, he said on the United podcast, about Graham Souness, because he had responded to the criticism that he has received from Graham Souness, because don't forget, Graham Souness has been criticising Paul Pogba regularly, persistently, same sort of thing. And obviously, Paul Pogba did respond to it, was it earlier on this week and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, if we was to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the club, we'd have to give him a huge increase in his wages. And as it stands at the moment, he's one of the highest paid players at the club, because he's on like £300,000 a week at the moment, he's Paul Pogba. And, don't forget, Paul Pogba enjoyed a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era as well. I think if Mourinho would have still been here, Pogba would have been gone. Probably Martial and Luke Shaw, they'd have also been gone as well. So let's just put that into the equation. But I've got, obviously, before the football season that was suspended, it was coming out saying like Paul Pogba was interested in staying at the club because he believes he can form a good partnership with Bruno Fernandes. He was also, saying he was interested in extending his contract, and then in a way, Solskjaer reiterated what he'd said. This was in his press conference in Austria, saying that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United next season. Obviously, swap deals as well have been on the agenda in recent weeks. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago there was talks of Ramsey coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going to Juventus. There was talks of, there has been talks of Matthijs de Ligt coming to Manchester United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus and that. So swap deals have been on the agenda, but like I've said to you, there is a lot of uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future at the football club. Now, Pogba, has won 2 trophies with us, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season at Manchester United. But he hasn't experienced winning the Premier League or the Champions League with us. But I think he still recently revealed, Paul Pogba, that he still wants to leave Manchester United. So he's got the same perception now as what he had last summer. There was rumours quite a few weeks ago as well about him possibly buying out the remainder of his contract. But that's now not happening because Fabrizio Romano confirmed that the other week. So I don't know, to be quite honest with you. But I think, playing Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes in starting 11, you'd keep Fernandes in number 10 because that's his predominant position, and you'd probably put Paul Pogba in the number 6. But there again, you can play Paul Pogba in the number 8. But us getting rid of Pogba, it will help us with our rebuilding process, and it'll free up our wage bill completely. But we said before we wanted around £100 million for Pogba at least. But obviously, due to financial difficulties and that, due to this pandemic, we may only get around £70 million for Paul Pogba. That was stemming from the Daily Express. We'll probably get around £70 million for the player if we are to sell him. If there was a swap deal involved, then it wouldn't be as much as £70 million. So let's just put that into the equation. So that's the latest news on Paul Pogba. But there has been a few midfielders on our agenda who could replace him at the football club. Son Niguez, he's been one midfielder on our agenda who could replace him, but very, very sceptical that we'll get Son Niguez in because we're not willing to meet Atletico Madrid's asking price. Atletico have remained ruthless over their valuation and they've said they want his 130 odd million release clause to be triggered. We're only willing to pay around half of that because we said we're only willing to pay around £70 million. Don't forget, Jack Grealish is still on our agenda. I think he's our number one priority target for the summer, like I updated you this morning. I ain't going to fully assure that, Jack Grealish is going to come to Manchester United. Obviously James Maddison was on our agenda, but I've got to say now I'm going to take him out of the equation because James Maddison's going to commit his long-term future with Leicester, and he insisted, that he's happy with Leicester. So if Pogba leaves, who do you think should replace him at the football club? So yeah, so that is the news on that. Now, I am going to delve into some news now. I am now going to delve into some of Chelsea's transfer news and some of Liverpool's transfer news. I haven't spoken with you about that for a long, long time, have I? So, Chelsea's transfer news is that, as you all know, I think Chelsea are going to get around £150 million to spend when the transfer market does reopen. Now, obviously, Frank Lampard, wants to get, the right calibre players in when the transfer market does reopen. Maybe for £150 million, they can get maybe 2 or 3 players in. Don't forget, Chelsea have already got one player on the board for when the transfer market reopens, and that's Hakim Ziyech from Ajax. When was that confirmed? I can't remember. I think it was a couple of months ago now that was confirmed, Hakim Ziyech going to Chelsea. But I think, to be fair, he will be a very, very good signing for them. Didn't Chelsea pay around £30 odd million for him, if I can remember rightly? But yeah, he has been confirmed. And, Chelsea have had quite a few young players on their agenda as well because, Chelsea have got a lot of good young players coming through, like I mentioned, and stuff like that. But, but I think, Chelsea will stick with Frank Lampard. Sceptical that is the foreseeable future for Chelsea. This has only been his first season, with Chelsea. Of course, he is inexperienced as a manager, but, it's the same sort of thing with Solskjaer at Man United and Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, same sort of thing, isn't it? But, Frank Lampard began his managerial career last season with Derby. That's where he began his managerial career. And, Frank Lampard did progress Derby to the playoff final, to be fair, But this is his first season with Chelsea. Obviously, he's Chelsea's all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals because he enjoyed 13 years as a player for Chelsea. Before he was at Chelsea, he was at West Ham, wasn't he? I think he had a spell with Swansea. When he left Chelsea in that 13 years, after that 13 years, this is during his playing career, he went to, was it Man City, had a spell with them, then went to New York City. But Chelsea will not sack Frank Lampard, especially not at this moment, because Chelsea are sitting 4th in the Premier League. But, they do need to give him more time because, like I've said before, Chelsea have sacked a hell of a lot of managers, in a short period of time. Last season, Maurizio Sarri got sacked from Chelsea, despite the fact they won the Europa League against Arsenal and they got to a League Cup final but didn't win it. They lost to Man City, was it? Obviously, don't forget Mourinho enjoyed 2 spells with them. I think Mourinho got sacked, was it, in 2017? They also sacked Antonio Conte. He won the title in his first season with Chelsea but still got sacked. Did Antonio Conte. They also had Gus Higgin at one point. Don't forget, they had Villas Boas. I think that's when they won the Champions League. Chelsea have only won the Champions League once, and that was under Villas Boas. I think it was under Villas Boas, if I'm right, in 2012. Yeah. Also, too, they had, who was else? They had Scarali, they had Avram Grant, don't forget. They had also Carlo Ancelotti. He won the double with Chelsea back in 2010, and I think there's other managers as well that they have sat. So they will stick with Frank Lampard. So let's delve into the news now of their transfers. So one player that's been on Chelsea's agenda, and that is Philippe Coutinho. Now it would be interesting to see how Chelsea would line up if they did get Philippe Coutinho on the board. Probably Philippe Coutinho, would go alongside the likes of Jorginho and Mason Mount and that. And of course, Billy Gilmour as well. Let's put him into the equation. Since he broke into Chelsea's first team, I think Billy Gilmour's done very, very well, especially in Chelsea's 2-0 win against Liverpool in the Cup. Billy Gilmour did absolutely fantastic. So Coutinho would go alongside them. Now, Coutinho can play as an attacking mid, and he can also play as a winger. And I think he's also operated as a secondary striker before as Philippe Coutinho. Now, I think it's been revealed how much Coutinho would cost Chelsea. I think he probably would cost them in the 70 odd or 80 odd million pound range. I think it's in the 70 odd million pound range because some reports have said he'd be available for around 75 million. Some reports have said 79 million pounds. But there's no way that Barcelona are going to recoup all of the 142 million pounds that they paid for him from Liverpool, because obviously Barcelona paid 142 million pounds for him from Liverpool. He is the third most expensive player in the world behind behind Neymar, and Mbappe is the player. So Liverpool, got 142 million pounds for him, and with that 142 million, Liverpool paid 75 million for Virgil van Dijk and around 67 million pounds for Alisson. So that's what they did with 142 million pounds that they generated from his departure. But I think Barcelona are keen to offload Philippe Coutinho anywhere. He joined Barcelona in January 2018, but he was very, very inconsistent at Barcelona. He's obviously not on loan at Bayern Munich at the moment, and I've got to say he's been very, very poor at Bayern Munich as Philippe Coutinho. What's his contract? Is he under contract till 2022 or 2023? If I'm right, I can't remember. But I think it's one of them anyway. And but I thought he did have 5 exceptional years with Liverpool. I've got to put that into the equation. Did very, very well. Liverpool made a huge profit on the player when they sold him, because Liverpool only paid just over £8 million for him from Inter Milan, because Coutinho began his senior career with Inter Milan. So let's just put that into the equation. So Chelsea have been heavily linked with Philippe Coutinho. Don't forget, they did have Jadon Sancho on their agenda, Chelsea, for quite some time. But I think Chelsea have come to accept the fact that they're not going to get Sancho, so they're looking to get Philippe Coutinho instead. Possibly, Sancho could still come to Manchester United, like I've said to you before on my other videos. Chelsea too have also inquired about the availability of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, I think Aubameyang is expected to leave Arsenal. Of course, Arsenal have tried to do everything they can to try and convince Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang to, sign a new contract and commit his foreseeable future with Arsenal. But it's looking like, that's not going to happen. But Arsenal know now he's not going to sign a new deal, and he asked Arsenal early on this week if he could leave. So Arsenal would want to cash in for Aubameyang this summer, rather than let him go on a free transfer in the summer of 2021, because that's when his contract expires, in the summer of 2021. Does Aubameyang's. Now, it actually said that Aubameyang is valued at around £50 million. But he said a couple of weeks ago that Arsenal knocked £15 million off that £50 million valuation. So reportedly it is available for £30 odd million. But Arsenal should get double the £30 odd million for Aubameyang, because he is one of their best players. But Chelsea have inquired about getting him. There's also been Madrid that have been in for him. Barcelona have been relentlessly linked with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think PSG as well. So we've obviously inquired about getting him as well. So there's a few clubs that have been in for him. I actually don't think that Aubameyang will continue applying his trade in the Premier League. I think, he'll probably go to Madrid or Barcelona. Arsenal paid £56 million in from Dortmund back in January 2018. So he has been at Arsenal over 2 years as Aubameyang. He's made 75 appearances in the league, scored 49 goals, and Aubameyang scored like 61 goals in all competitions. Aubameyang's very, very effective centrally. That's his predominant position. But you can also put Aubameyang out wide. And I think he's the age of 30 as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So, But I thought he had, 5 or 6, exceptional years with Dortmund before he went to Arsenal. Yes, he did. Obviously, he's also played for St Etienne and Monaco in the past. I think he also played for Lille at one point, didn't he? And I think he began his career with Milan. So Chelsea have also inquired about his availability as well, to be quite honest with you. So that's the news on that. So that's a bit of Chelsea's transfer news. Of course, as well, Chelsea, don't forget, lost Eden Hazard last summer. You can maybe say Chelsea did make a mistake by doing that. But there again, Chelsea did generate quite a bit of money for his departure. So now let's delve into some of Liverpool's transfer news. So I haven't spoken with you about Liverpool for quite a while, haven't I? But this is stemming from the Sports Witness and a Spanish newspaper, and they have said that Liverpool are in negotiations with Chelsea over getting Willian. Now, reportedly, it says that Liverpool are willing to offer a lucrative contract for Willian. This is what it has basically said. So this is why Chelsea are in for Coutinho, because they're actually seeing Coutinho as an adequate replacement for Willian. Now, Chelsea, I think, will want to try and cash in for Willian, to be quite honest with you, before the 30th of June, because that's when his current contract does expire with Chelsea. Now, Willian has been a long-serving player for Chelsea. He has been at Chelsea since 2013 as Willian. So this is now his 7th season with Chelsea. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in the Premier League for them. I think Chelsea paid around £30 million for him. If I can pronounce his team right, they paid £30 million for him from Anze Makakala or something like that. I might have pronounced that wrong, but that's where Willian came from. Before he was there, I think he enjoyed a spell with Shakhtar Donetsk. Willian is 31 years of age. Now, he can play as an attacking mid, and he can also play as a winger. So it reportedly says, that this has come out today from the mainstream media. It's stemming from the Sports Witness, and they said Liverpool are in for him, and they are now in negotiations with Chelsea over getting him. Like I said, can play as an attacking mid and can also play as a winger. So I think probably Willian will leave Chelsea, because there's no signs of him, signing a new contract and that. But, like I've said, Liverpool have got quite a few players on their agenda. Obviously, don't forget, the news on Timo Werner. I think Liverpool will get him, providing that they can sell one of their attacking trio in Salah, Firmino or Mane. So they need to sell one of them so Werner can get game time week in, week out. But Werner's made an admission. This is stemming from the Germany, by the way. And he said he wants to make a move to Liverpool. Don't forget, Timo Werner was talking a lot about Liverpool back in February, because he was saying like Liverpool are so good and Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers in the world and stuff like that. And in Timo Werner is available for around £50 million, because that's his actual release clause. Can play as a striker, but he can also play in other positions as well, can Timo Werner. So yeah, I think Liverpool have got a great chance of signing Timo Werner. I really, really do. And I think he'd succeed in the Premier League. I really, really do. He's had, 3 good years or so with RP Leipzig. This is now his 4th season with RP Leipzig. I think he's got a contract with Leipzig until 2023, is it, if I'm right? Or 2022. He was also very, very good during his time at Stuttgart. Liverpool were in for Jadon Sancho, but they're no longer in for him now. So yeah, Liverpool have had quite a few players on their agenda. They've had quite a few players on their agenda, because Liverpool do want to continue this dominance up. Because, Liverpool have really, they've done well throughout the course of this season. Don't forget, Liverpool did go on a 44-match unbeaten run. Obviously, Watford were the team that ended their 44-match unbeaten run, because Watford did beat them by 3-0. I think Liverpool are still unbeaten in 50-odd Premier League games at Anfield, if I'm right. Yes, they are in that. And obviously, Liverpool are sitting 25 points clear at the top of the Premier League. The 25 points in front of City. They only need 2 wins, do Liverpool, to clinch their first ever Premier League title and to end their 30-year drought and stuff. But they want to strengthen up more, because they want to continue this dominance up at least in the next 2 to 3 years or so. But they've enjoyed a very, very good season of Liverpool. They've only lost 1 game this season in the league. I think they've lost about, 6-7 in all competitions throughout the course of this season. They did sign someone in January, and that was Takumi Minamino. They got him from Red Bull Salzburg, don't forget, for just over £7 million. He should get more opportunities next season, should Takumi Minamino. He's a backup at the moment, let's be honest. Liverpool, of course, are planning to get rid of players when the transfer market reopens. They're planning to get rid of players. I think, they're definitely going to get rid of Nathaniel Klein, because, Nathaniel Klein's very, very injury prone. Doesn't even get in the team now anyway. He's a backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold, is Nathaniel Klein. I think they'll probably get rid of Lovren. He's one of their backup centre-halves, but doesn't really get in the team now. He's had a few injuries this season as well. I think they'll get rid of Adam Lallana. He's set to leave on a free transfer, is Adam Lallana. They could get rid of Salah, Firmino or Mane. Maybe they won't, but they could get rid of one of their players. Just say if Liverpool were to sell all their if they were to sell Salah, Firmino and Mane, I think they'd definitely generate £300 million for their departures, you know, let's be honest. I think there's a few other players Liverpool will get rid of as well. They'll probably get rid of Shaqiri. He's another one they'll get. He tends to make an impact from the sub. I think they'll also they could get rid of Dick Origi. He's another good backup for Liverpool. So they'll probably get rid of around 4 or 5 players, to be quite honest with you. But Liverpool have had Mbappe on their agenda. I can't see Liverpool signing Mbappe. But it'd be interesting to see how Liverpool approach the market, you know, when it does reopen and that. Even if the season, you know, isn't to resume, I still think, you know, Liverpool will get the Premier League title. I don't know about the teams in the relegation zone. There was rumours saying they won't get relegated if the season doesn't resume and that. But I don't think, you know, Liverpool will be denied the title. As you all know as well, Liverpool are changing their sponsor from New Balance to Nike. You know, yes, they are and that. But like I've said, you know, Liverpool have won 3 major honours under Jurgen Klopp. You know, they won the FIFA Club World Cup earlier on this season. They won the Super Cup earlier on this season. And they won the Champions League at the end of last season. So when Liverpool win the Premier League, you know, it will be their 4th major honour under Jurgen Klopp. And they are the most successful team in the Champions League out of the English clubs because Liverpool have won 6 Champions Leagues, don't forget. And Jurgen Klopp's got a contract with Liverpool till 2024. You know, whether he sees out the remainder of his contract or not, I do not know. But 2024 is 4 years away yet. You know, maybe he will see out the remainder of his contract. You know, will Jurgen Klopp. And I think when he does eventually leave Liverpool, he'll probably, you know, make a return back to Germany. Because don't forget, he was at Borussia Dortmund with Jurgen Klopp. He did win, I think, a couple of titles with Borussia Dortmund. And before he was at Dortmund, he was at Mainz 05 with Jurgen Klopp and that. Liverpool have spent I think they've spent around 460 million since Jurgen Klopp got recommended in. He's now into his 5th season with Liverpool, is Jurgen Klopp and that. But he's definitely the foreseeable future for them. And I also believe, you know, City will probably, you know, strengthen up when the transfer market reopens. You know, Newcastle now, you know, they've got the Saudi Arabians supposedly coming in. They're buying Newcastle for around 300 million. Mike Ashley, of course, has agreed to sell the club. You know, they're looking to get Pochettino in to replace Bruce, and they've got, you know, big names on their agenda now of Newcastle. So realistically, you know, they should be competing going on into next season. So yeah, so that's everything to update you with today, guys. You know, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.